Red Dead Redemption 2 is not only a great game, it also has so many Easter eggs that I'm struggling to keep up. Today we take a look at 12 more Easter eggs in our attempt to cover them all, including a giant skeleton, a reference to The Walking Dead, and a man that got a little too friendly with a cow. So without further delay, let's get started. Up first is something that I think that Red Dead 2 does better than almost any game I've ever played, and that is environmental storytelling. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been riding to record an Easter egg only to get sidetracked by something I find along the way. This Easter egg is the perfect example of this. Take a look. It leaves me with so many questions. Why did the guy hang himself? Did he even hang himself, or was he murdered? Who is the woman that was being carved into the mountain? Things like this make the game so much more fun to explore. Another thing that Red Dead 2 does really well is to provide you with an interesting cast of characters to interact with. Now, they might not be as wacky as some of the characters seen in other Rockstar games such as GTA 5, and I for one like that, but there are plenty of interesting characters for you to find. Take this guy for example. If you head to this location, you can find a deformed man playing a banjo.
Hey, mister.
Can I get a little space here?
I'm definitely getting a Hills Have Eyes vibe from this area, and I suspect that the families here are very close, if you get what I mean. I mentioned in the last episode that this game definitely has a creepy vibe. With all of its ghost sightings, mysterious gangs and foggy swamps, it's definitely a game that can give you the chills. One thing missing though is a good old fashioned jump scare. Well, if for some reason you're a fan of jump scares, then Rockstar has you covered at this location. Talking of creepy things, I've mentioned in previous videos that I really don't like alligators and, to a lesser extent, snakes. If you're like me, then you may want to avoid this location at all costs as it contains a rather large snake. So as I said, I'm not a fan of alligators and snakes, but this next guy is definitely an animal lover. If you head to this location, you can find this. Now, I don't particularly want to assume what happened here, but I will anyway. It seems that the man was trying to get friendly with the cow. He'd even dressed the cow up with a pink bow, and next to the cow you can find a gold wedding ring. So it seems that the man had decided to take their relationship to the next step, which is utterly crazy. Up next, I want to take a look at a couple of the movie and TV references I've found in the game so far. Up first, at this location you can find an abandoned town with this barn.
Easy now.
So the writing on the front seems to be a reference to this scene from The Walking Dead Season 1. Of course, the writing isn't the same, but I'm pretty certain it's what they had in mind when creating the barn. Also, this town is completely empty. There are tons of graveyards, which indicate that everyone was killed, and judging from the writing on the buildings, I think they were exterminated. It's a creepy location that's definitely worth checking out. In the previous episode, we covered the small house built into a hill, which looks like something you would find in the Hobbit movies. Well, at this location, you can find this. Now there are two possible references here. One could be a reference to Annie Taylor, who was the first person to conquer the Niagara Falls in a barrel, though she survives, so it probably isn't anything to do with Annie. The other is a reference to The Hobbit, and this scene in particular. I'm not sure which one it is. What do you think? The final film reference I've found can be found here. This pretty gruesome scene is almost certainly a reference to the film The Revenant, and this scene in particular. Onto a couple of smaller Easter eggs now, starting with a mass grave. At this location you can find this. It appears that loads of workers were buried here. The location is also close to the Van Horn trading post, so perhaps they were workers from there. Add this to the list of mysteries in this game. It's like someone should start their own video series trying to solve the mysteries in Red Dead Redemption 2. What do you think? Now I know I said smaller Easter eggs, but at this location you can find a giant skeleton. People have speculated that this is the skeleton of Bigfoot, and it's certainly larger than the average human skeleton, as Arthur notes down. What is it with Rockstar and Bigfoot? A lot of Easter eggs in this game have made me want an Undead Nightmares type of DLC, just like we got with the first Red Dead Redemption. Well, Rockstar have placed a nod to that expansion with this mask that can be found here. Now if you weren't aware, this mask is believed to be the cause of the zombie outbreak, and the zombie outbreak stops when John returns the mask. Please Rockstar, don't just focus on the online mode, give us some cool single player DLC too. Finally, we have what is probably my most favourite encounter in the game. I can't give you a location as it seems to happen at random and at night, but if you manage to spot one of these meetings, it's definitely worth attending.
And supremacy before it is too late. Our numbers are waning. Thanks to the fools in Congress and their ludicrous ideas. But today, we grow one stronger as we anoint a new brother into our sacred cause. Please step forward and kneel. Do you choose to accept the light?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on.
Yeah.
There we go. The eternal light shine. Yeah.
went about as well as I'd expect. You think maybe it's a sign?
You petty, small-minded fool. You and your kind will be the end of this country.
Aw, yeah. See, I'm thinking of doing everyone a favor and putting a bullet in your hand.
You dirty son of a...
Goddamn hooded rodents. I'll kill all you bastards.
So that's it for part 2. Believe it or not, I am already working on part 3, so make sure you are subscribed, your notifications turned on so you don't miss an upload. If you like the video, then a like is really appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all very soon.